Welcome to the Intuitive Therapist Podcast with Janis R. Cohen, therapist, clairvoyant, empath, and medium. Listen in as she takes a no-nonsense deep dive into real human struggles and how to resolve them. Janis will share channeled information from her spirit guide team, as well as the angels and archangels, to help you master your emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual destiny. And now, Janis R. Cohen.
Hey y'all, this is Janis Cohen, the Intuitive Therapist here on the Intuitive Therapist Podcast. As we step into the new year, many of us carry remnants of an identity that no longer serves us, who we truly are, really, and who we're meant to become. And if you're not sure what that means for you, you will by the end of this episode. So today, we're going to uncover the identity that you don't want to move into 2025 with, why this unwanted identity persists. We're going to explore how it holds you back. And most importantly, we're going to dive into the proven strategies to clarify who you truly want to be and bypass the conditioning that's been holding you hostage. So, whether you're looking to redefine your career, relationships, or sense of self, this is the perfect moment to hit reset. So let's begin. Now, I want you to take a moment to reflect on how you see yourself right now. And for many of you, you've gotten good at not looking at how you see yourself. Maybe that's because you feel like you've let yourself down in some way, or that you aren't where you wish you could be, or where you should be at this time in your life. Regardless of your self-judgment, take some time to write down how you see yourself in all ways. Is there a part of your self-image that feels outdated or limiting or untrue about who you are? Maybe it's the overworked people pleaser, the procrastinator stuck in self-doubt, or the person who's always putting others first at the expense of their own dreams. How do you really see yourself? This is the only time that I'm going to ask you to be as judgy pants as you want to be. Because if you can't be honest with yourself, you can't be honest with anybody else or anything else in your life. So why is this identity unwanted that you have? Why don't you want to remain this type of person that you've just described? What's it costing you if you do? In what ways does being this version of you allow you to play small, to avoid doing things and facing things that will incur growth, right? All of us have some unwanted aspects of ourselves. We're human, and our growth, or rather the degree to which we grow, is based on how much of ourselves we can accept. And if you can accept all of all these aspects of yourself with as little judgment as possible, then your growth potential skyrockets. But we don't want to be labeled as we don't want to see ourselves as anything less than good enough, right? But we are so quick to label ourselves in ways that reinforce our inadequacies. And in truth, no one is better or worse than you. It's all about choosing how you show up to yourself and others, choices and actions, right? And this identity that you've identified that's unwanted, it's because it's not aligned with your core values. And maybe your core values have changed. So it's almost like you're practicing the habit of being who you were, but your life has shifted, your values have shifted, and it doesn't fit anymore. So your core values have changed, and this vision that you have of yourself has also shifted. Now, you can literally feel that sentence, can't you? You could feel that who you are now isn't who you know you could be. We all can feel that. When we aren't where we want to be in life, and we aren't who we want to be in life, then we feel that misalignment with the truth of who we are. And no words are necessary. That's what I'm saying. We just feel it. We just know it. The unwanted identity, it's often rooted in fear or external expectations or past experiences that shaped our beliefs. But the truth is, we change all the time. We change from one decision to the next, one day to the next. And if that feels heavy, draining, or creates a sense of resistance when you think about moving forward, You've got to get past how you kind of judge yourself all over yourself, right? In order to let go of the unwanted identity you've embodied for so long. So recognizing this and the unwanted identity, that is the first step in shifting all of this. The more self-awareness you can bring into your life, the more quickly you can change what isn't aligned in your truth, right? No shame, no guilt, just awareness. That's all I'm asking you to develop. Now, I want to talk about how you can get crystal clear about who you truly want to be. Everybody has these desires in their heart to do, be, and have certain things, right? And so I believe that our soul knows our greatest potential. And I believe that the universe puts these insanely amazing desires in our hearts because we all know quantum physics. We have all these parallel universes in which all these different versions of ourselves exist. So our soul has already recognized the highest version. With that, I want you to really kind of lean into this first step, which is defining your future self. And the reason why I love this first step is because it takes you out of your current state of limitation and takes you out of your mind, actually, and it catapults you into the version of yourself that your soul knows is the highest version, right? You'll know whether or not your ego is driving your future version of yourself, this vision, because it's only going to focus on material gains like fame, fortune, acceptance, praise, and things like that. When you truly connect with the highest version of yourself, the future version that you truly align with, you're going to feel a deep sense of satisfaction. It's going to land in your heart instead of in your mind. You're going to feel peace and fulfillment. You will feel purposeful and valuable. So take 5 minutes today and maybe every day to journal about the version of yourself that you aspire to be. Who are you? What do you value now? How do you spend your time? Engage all of your senses. What does your environment look like? What do you feel when you wake up each morning? What clothes are you wearing? What car are you driving? How are you feeding your body? The clearer your vision, the easier it will be to align with it. Now, the second step is very important too, and it really is the foundation upon which you allow yourself to think so expansively. And this has to do with identifying your current belief system. Now, I want you to ask yourself what beliefs are keeping you stuck in your unwanted identity. So, some of these common limiting beliefs may sound like, I'm not good enough, I'm not qualified enough. I've always been told my whole life that I can't achieve big things, or it's too late for me, or success is for others and not me, and I have no idea what to do. So write whatever beliefs come up for you, write them down, and then challenge them by asking them, is this really true? And often, actually 100% of the time, these limiting beliefs are not true. So you get the opportunity to change how you believe. The third step is anchoring into your desired identity. Now, visualization is key here, but if you're not a visual person, you can just feel this, right? So close your eyes and imagine yourself fully embodying your desired identity. Picture how you'd act, speak, or carry yourself, who you're engaging with, what are you doing, how you handling money, how you're honoring your body, the words you speak. And if you have a hard time doing this on your own, go and listen to one of the most recent episodes where I offer a meditation to quantum leap into the highest version of yourself. It's going to help you get in touch with your future self so that you can do this particular step easier. So practice this daily and let it become your mental rehearsal. The fourth step is creating micro habits. Now, small actions create big shifts over time. For example, if your future self is confident and healthy, start with a daily 5-minute morning stretch with an affirmation that says, you know what? I'm worthy of success. I wonder what miracles will happen today. And everything is always working out for me, right? These micro actions signal to your subconscious mind that change is happening. And of course, if you can get your energy behind any kind of mantra or saying, right, then you're going to make great strides. Just create one that works for you. Now, the final step is surrounding yourself with support. Now, be mindful of your environment. Seek out communities, people, mentors, or even podcasts like this one to reinforce your new identity. Let their energy elevate yours. And if those pesky limiting beliefs creep in, causing you to release your personal power to your ego's judgments, right? We talked about that. And you begin to compare yourself to somebody else's achievements or success, then just notice it. Don't judge it. And then go back to anchoring into your future self that has it all. The one who has already achieved what you want to achieve. Now, let's address bypassing the roadblocks that arise from old conditioning. And what I mean by old conditioning is anything that you took on from others that you weren't aware that you took on. Beliefs, perspectives, judgment of self and others, like disapproval, low expectations. We've all done this and have been victims of how we were raised. Not that our parents are bad, but we took on what they believed. And once you realize that you can actually feel the difference between a thought that belongs to you and one that doesn't, you're going to be able to do the work that much more quickly. Think about the things that your parents said to you about maybe money, success, or health, your ability to achieve. Remember, our parents were only sharing what they knew to be true, and they didn't have the resources to use to not pass those limiting beliefs on to us. Maybe you picked them up directly. Maybe you picked them up, subtly by just watching how your parents handled themselves. They weren't aware that this is what they were doing, so we can't blame them. But we can use what we've learned to further our growth. So you've got to be able to discern what thoughts and beliefs are actually yours from those that aren't. And so I want to give you kind of 3 pieces to think about. And the first is when you notice that you're having a belief or a thought that does not make you feel good, right? That's the standard. That's the baseline. If you have a thought or belief that does not allow you to feel good, it's a limiting belief. And so I want you to use some pattern interrupts. So the next time a limiting belief or self-sabotaging thought pops up, pause and say out loud, stop. This simple action breaks the cycle of negativity. It stops your ego from feeding more into your belief system, and it gives you the space to choose a different response. It really does work, and I've done this work, and I want you to try this one too. So you could say something like this: ego, you need to stop. You are not in charge. Leave me alone, because I choose to know and believe that I am this, and I am that, and I am this, and I am that, all positive things. Okay? It's a pattern interrupt. The second is I want you to reframe your narrative. Replace statements like, I've always been this way, with, I am becoming somebody new. Language is powerful, and it's power. And what you say reinforces your beliefs. And you get to choose what you believe. And it's the same as when you use the word yet. I don't know how to do that yet. You've got to learn to give yourself an opportunity to grow. And using the word yet, it's a great way to reframe your narrative. Now, the third piece is leveraging your visualization and anchoring techniques. And in a moment of doubt, anchor yourself to the vision of your future self, right? Getting really reconnected with the feeling of knowing that your highest timeline already exists. So place your hand on your heart and recall how the future version of yourself feels. This physical gesture grounds you, and it reconnects you with your higher identity. And stay there as long as you need until the doubt passes. Use all of your senses to anchor into him or her. Now, as we wrap up, remember that the new year, it's not about becoming somebody else. It's about peeling back the layers of who you're not and stepping into who you've always been meant to be. Your unwanted identity, it does not define you. It's a moment, it's a blip, and you get to change it. It's simply a story you've outgrown. Now is the time to write a new chapter. You can redefine yourself at any moment you choose, and you may have to fake it until you make it. We all have to do that. But at least give yourself a shot at becoming your truth by identifying yourself as your ideal version, right? You make I am statements. I am rich. I am healthy. I am in a loving relationship, the relationship of my dreams. Every day I experience miracles. I always know exactly what to do because I follow my guidance. I trust myself implicitly. So those things that your future self already knows is true, repeat them. And then take these strategies and implement them. And watch your life. See how it dramatically shifts because you've got the ability to do this. And if you feel like somebody you know might benefit from this episode, by all means, share it with them. And if my podcast has impacted you in any way, please go ahead, hop on iTunes and subscribe, rate, and write a review. I'd love to hear from you. I wish you a blessed day, a wonderful week, and as always, live intuitively.
Thanks for listening to The Intuitive Therapist. If you like what you heard, the best compliment you can give us is to share this podcast with a friend. And be sure to give us some stars and a favorable review at Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen in.